The sound of breaking glass echoed through the old wooden house. 8-year-old Emily Carter dropped the heavy bucket of water she had been dragging across the kitchen floor, her little hands trembling. Her thin frame bent forward, chest heaving as sweat dripped from her brow. Her knees were bruised, her feet bare and blistered, but what hurt more than the cuts and bruises was the fear in her heart. "Emily," her Aunt Margaret roared, storming into the room. "Look at the mess you made. Useless child. Pick it up, now." Emily scrambled to her knees, scooping shards of glass into her small palms, even as they cut into her skin. She bit her lip hard to keep from crying out. She knew what would happen if she made a sound. Her parents had died 2 years ago in a car accident, leaving Emily orphaned. Her father's younger sister, Margaret, took her in, but not out of love, out of greed. The little girl had been left with a sizable inheritance in a trust fund her parents had built. Margaret had no access to it, but she used Emily's presence as leverage to gain sympathy in town and to collect charity benefits. Behind closed doors, she treated Emily as nothing more than a servant. Day after day, Emily's tiny hands scrubbed the floors, washed clothes, and cooked meals she never got to eat. When she cried, Margaret would sneer. "Your tears won't bring your parents back. Now, get back to work." Emily often sat by the window at night, clutching a small photograph of her mother and father. She whispered, "Mommy, Daddy, please send someone. Please, I can't do this anymore." One chilly evening, Emily dragged herself to bed after hours of endless chores. She overheard her aunt speaking on the phone in the kitchen. Margaret's voice was sharp, annoyed. "Yes, Charles, he's back in town. But listen, I don't care if he's rich now, he left and never looked back. He's not going to take anything from me. Especially not this house." Emily's ears perked up. She had heard the name Charles before. Her father used to speak about his childhood best friend, Charles Anderson. Emily remembered faintly. A tall young man with kind eyes who used to visit their house when she was very little, before leaving for the city to chase his dreams. She never saw him again after that. Now he was back. The next morning, Emily was ordered to wash clothes by the frozen river. Her fingers turned purple from the icy water, her body shaking violently. She collapsed in the snow, her hands raw, but Margaret's harsh voice pierced the cold. "Stop pretending, Emily. If you want breakfast, finish the work first. Lazy children don't eat." Emily's little stomach growled painfully. She closed her eyes, whispering, "God, please, let someone see me." At that very moment, a black car slowed near the riverbank. The door opened, and a tall man stepped out, dressed in an elegant coat. His sharp suit and polished shoes looked far too expensive for the muddy ground, but his eyes softened when they landed on the frail child kneeling in the snow. "Emily," he said gently. The little girl looked up, startled. She saw a man with familiar eyes, eyes that reminded her of her father. "Who are you?" she asked weakly. "I'm Charles," he said, kneeling beside her. "Your father's best friend. I knew him since we were boys. You look just like your mother." Tears filled Emily's eyes as she whispered, "Uncle Charles." His chest tightened at the word. He gently touched her frozen hands and saw the bruises, the cuts, the exhaustion carved into her small body. Something inside him broke. Charles walked Emily back to the house, his protective arm around her. Margaret, upon seeing him, faked a sweet smile. "Well, look who decided to show up," she said bitterly. "Charles Anderson, the big millionaire." "I didn't come here for you, Margaret," he replied coldly. "I came for Emily." Margaret scoffed. "Emily is my responsibility. Her parents left her to me, and I've raised her." "Raised her?" Charles's voice grew hard. "She's half-starved, covered in bruises, and working like a slave. This is not raising a child. This is cruelty." Emily cowered behind Charles, clutching his coat. Margaret smirked. "What will you do? You have no rights here." Charles's jaw tightened. "Then I'll fight for her. I promised her father once that I'd always look out for her if anything happened. I failed for 2 years. I won't fail again." The days that followed were a whirlwind. Charles hired lawyers, and the town soon began to whisper. Many had suspected Emily was mistreated, but no one dared to stand against Margaret's sharp tongue and manipulative ways. Now, with Charles's influence and wealth, people began to speak up. Emily slowly found comfort in his presence. He brought her warm meals, soft clothes, and toys she had never dared to dream of. But more than that, he gave her kindness. For the first time in years, she heard someone say, "You are safe now, Emily. You don't have to be afraid." Still, Margaret didn't give up easily. She fought tooth and nail, spreading lies that Charles only wanted Emily's inheritance. But one night, when Margaret screamed at Emily in front of neighbors, Charles recorded it. The evidence of her cruelty spread like fire through town. The court soon ruled in Charles's favor, granting him custody. The day Charles took Emily away, she sat in the backseat of his car, watching the old house disappear in the distance. Her small hand gripped his tightly. "Uncle Charles," she whispered. "Yes, sweetheart, do I have to work all day in your house too?" His heart broke. He turned, his eyes glistening. "No, Emily, in my house, you don't work. You play, you laugh, you go to school, you be a child again." For the first time in years, Emily smiled. Months later, Emily stood in a beautiful room with sunlight streaming through wide windows. She was dressed in a new school uniform, her hair tied neatly, her cheeks fuller, glowing with health. Charles watched her from the doorway, his heart swelling with pride. "You ready for school, Emily?" he asked. She ran up to him, hugging his waist. "Yes, thank you, Uncle Charles, for saving me." He knelt down and kissed her forehead. "No, Emily, you saved me. I had everything money could buy, but I was empty. Now, I have you. You are my family." Emily's life changed forever. She grew up not in chains of cruelty but in an environment filled with love and guidance. She blossomed into a bright young girl who never forgot the pain of her past, but instead used it to fuel her compassion for others. Charles, once a lonely millionaire, found joy and purpose in raising her. And together, they proved something powerful. That love, not blood, defines a family. That kindness can heal the deepest wounds. And that even in the darkest winters of life, hope will always find a way home.